KSA Entertainment is dedicated to uplifting the communities we serve. Through KSA Cares, we're bringing awareness to the causes that matter most, supporting those who work tirelessly to make a difference. From honoring veterans to championing environmental responsibility, KSA Cares is committed to inspiring positive change. At KSA Entertainment, we're here for the stories that bring us closer. Innovate with us. We can make a difference.
Hey, welcome back to Daily Flash. I'm Mitch English, along with the lovely Andrea Jackson. You know, earlier this week, we took a deep dive with Business Insider about celebrities and those prenups before they got married.
One question that I asked actually lit up our social media channels. Take a look. It seems like even some of these celebrity couples and even non-celebrity couples, even though they do have a prenup, oftentimes they're taking these things to court and they're rehashing them out. Does a judge have a final say in interpreting those prenups? Yep, and that was the big question that got people fired up. Joining us with the facts on how prenups work is Chris Johnsen of Johnsen Law. Chris, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.
So prenup seems standard with celebrity marriages. What can a prenup control, and where does a prenup fall short?
Okay. So what a prenup is a financial contract before the parties, either prenups before marriage. You can actually have a postnup after marriage. And what it does is it controls what happens to the parties' property in the event of a divorce. It cannot control child support because that's a matter of public policy. That's really a matter of statute and state, and it's left really for the children. The parties themselves can't contract that away from the children.
You know, we are showing celebrity divorces, which is what we normally talk about, but it's something that everybody should think about prior to marriage, I would imagine. There's also a big push for saying, hey, how about making full financial disclosure mandatory? Do you think that will ever happen, and is it a good idea?
I mean, it pretty much is mandatory. So you can not do it and you can do a waiver, but I highly, highly suggest it almost to the level of mandatory. And that's because if there isn't full financial disclosure, then later on the party can claim some type of duress. Prenups aren't like a lot of contracts. There's a lot of protectionism that goes along with these contracts. For the most part, commercial contracts, parties are able to do whatever they want. But courts really scrutinize these contracts. And if after the fact, one of the spouses says, I really didn't understand what was going on, claims some kind of duress, the court might look into that and overturn the whole contract.
Okay, what about celebrities and sports stars putting their money and assets into their mother's name?
Oh, yeah.
As a way of saving them during a divorce? How common is that, and is that effective?
Well, I've seen that, and I've seen that with not celebrities, and I've seen that with not for divorces too. I've seen it in anticipation of just avoiding a judgment from creditors. So it's kind of an age-old tactic to give away your property to someone else you trust. Now, the problem with that is it could be construed as a fraudulent transfer, really, because you're giving away your property to avoid paying someone else. And if you do that within a certain period of time for when there's a claim or something else, the court can go in, scrutinize it, take discovery on financials, which can be really burdensome too, even having to deal with that, and really pull the whole transfer back and undo the whole scheme that party wished to employ.
And let's talk about having a lawyer, having representation. Is it crucial to have separate lawyers when you go through maybe a prenup as well as the divorce, I would imagine?
Yeah, definitely the divorce. But with a prenup, again, this whole duress thing. So what we do, we represent high net worth clients and we'll represent them on the prenup. And we tell them, you need to tell your fiance, they need to go out and they need to get their own attorney that can review this contract with him or her and advise as to the legal effects of the contract. That way, later, you don't have that same type of argument, that duress, I didn't understand, blah, blah, blah. Again, they can waive that right, but it's much better when the other side is represented by an attorney.
Okay, one case that stood out to me was the case involving singer and actor Tyrese. He thought he had an ironclad prenup. Listen to him respond to his ex's demands, even though they did have a prenup.
We never spent $20,000 on my daughter when we were together, and I had the money.
Yeah, but now
like, who spends that kind of money on a kid? She was 1 when she took my baby from me. We never spent $20,000 a month on our child.
So Tyrese has been arrested and released for not paying his ex. So how can a signed prenup be overturned by a judge? And if they can't be overturned, then what's really the point in having one?
So I'm going to take this one in pieces, if you don't mind.
Sure.
So with this whole case, as I understand it, the court did enforce the prenup, which was the financial contract as to the division of property, whether that's his property or whether that's her property, whether she has a community interest in the property. What the prenup cannot do is affect the child support. His income was really high, and the court found because his income was high and his children were accustomed to a certain level of living, that the child support payments were going to be high too. And you can call that maybe a backdoor into property division. I don't know, and maybe that's some of what went on, because in these courts, they're, again, very protectionist and for the children. But I think the court did enforce this prenup. It just ordered a really high child support payment amount. And if you don't pay that child support payment, you can get arrested.
Yep.
And
plain
that's
and
what
simple.
happened, right?
Indeed.
Chris, thank you.
Yeah, you want to find out more information, get the facts on prenups, as well as contact Chris Johnsen. Just head over to our website, dailyflashshow.com/FMI. I wish we had more time, because I think about the Nicole Kidman and Keith divorce.
Urban.
Seems like they had it worked out, though, and it's
They
not
did,
crazy.
All separate.
Separate.
They came together with so much.
And that's what he said.